¿Qué haces en tu tiempo libre? What do you do in your free time?
En mi tiempo libre, leo libros. In my free time, I read books.
A veces juego a los videojuegos. Sometimes I play video games.
But what is the difference between me gusta leer libros and leo libros? So I'm sure you spot that the first example, me gusta leer libros, is an opinion verb plus an infinitive. However, in the second example, leo libros, we have a conjugated verb. We have the I form. So conjugated verbs are those ones when someone is doing the action. So for example, in English, if I say I eat, it is a conjugated verb. In Spanish, it would be como. And you see that o means that I am doing the action. So here you have the conjugation table. You are familiar with it because we have seen it in class. And you need to remember the steps for conjugation. There are 3 steps. The first one, we start removing the ending of the infinitive verb. Remember those verbs that end in ar, er, or ir. Then we think about who is doing the action, and then we're gonna add the right ending. So we're gonna practice together conjugation. Here we have some infinitive verbs: navegar, bailar, leer, ver, escribir, salir, e ir, which I'm saying already is irregular. I will explain later. And we're going to conjugate it for 3 forms: the I form, the he or she form, and the we form. So let's start with navegar. And let's follow the steps. So the first step is removing the ending from the infinitive verb. So I'm going to remove the ending, the AR from navegar, and I'm left with naveg. Now I want think about who is doing the action. Right. The I form. So I'm gonna go to the column of the AR verbs, which is the first one, as you can see, and I'm gonna get the I form ending, which is O. And I add it to the stem, and I have navego. Let's do the same for the he or she form. So I remove the AR, and I'm left with naveg. So now I'm going to the AR column, and I'm gonna find the he or she form ending, which is A. And I'm gonna add it to my stem, naveg, and I'm left with navega. So he or she navigates as navega. Let's do the same for the we form. So I remove the ending of the verb navegar, and I'm left with naveg. Then I go to the AR column, and I add the we form ending, which is amos. So navegamos. Let's do bailar. Right, so I first start removing the AR, and I am left with bail. I am in the same column because it's another verb ending in AR. So I get the ending for the I form, which you know is O, so bailo. Same thing for the he or she form. I look for the he or she ending, which is A, so baila. And for the we form, I look for the we ending, which is amos, and we have bailamos. Right, now we have leer, to read. And this verb ends in er, so we're gonna use the second column of the conjugation table, this one. So I remove the ending, the er ending, and I'm left with le. So the ending for the I form is O, and I add it to it, and I have Leo. I read. Then I'm going to do the same for the he or she form. The ending for the he or she form is E. So it is lee. He or she reads lee. And for the we form, we look in the ER column. We find the we ending, which is emos, and we add it to the stem, and we have leemos. We read. Let's do the same for ver, to watch. Right, for the I form, so I start removing the ER, and here we have a little bit of an exception. As you see, I am keeping that E, but I should have removed it. This is because this verb is slightly irregular. So for the I form, we need to keep that E. And then add the O for the I form, and we will be done. However, for the he or she form, we don't need that E anymore. We just follow the rules, the regular rules. So we find the he or she ending, which is E, we add it to it, and we have B, he or she watches. And then for the we form, same thing, we keep the stem, we find the we ending, which is emos, and we add it to it, and we have vemos, we watch. Now, let's do the same for escribir. So escribir is a verb ending in ir, so we need to use the third column of the conjugation table. So we remove the ending, that's our first step, and I'm left with script. Now we need to add the I ending, which is O. So I write, escribo. Then for the he or she form, same thing. I have the stem. I look for the he or she ending, which is E, and I add it to it, and we have he or she writes, escribe. And for the we form, we look for the we ending, and we add it to it. So we write, escribimos. Right, let's do two more verbs. Salir, again, the I form is slightly irregular, so we are going to add that G, and then again, it's in the IR column, so we keep into it, and then we're going to add the ending for the I form, which is O, and we have salgo. Then for the he or she form, it follows the regular rules, so forget about the G. We're going to add the he or she ending, which is E, and we have he or she goes out, so sale. And for the we form, we keep the stem, we add the we ending, and we have salimos, we go out. Now, our last verb, ir, which means to go. And you're familiar with this verb because we have seen it many times, but I'm going to remind you, this verb doesn't follow the rules of the regular verbs that we have seen just now. This is completely different, and that's why you have to learn it by heart. So I'm going to remind you these forms. So I go is voy, he or she goes is va, and we go is vamos. So remember, the exception is an irregular verb, and you cannot conjugate it like the others. Write the endings of the AR, ER, and IR verbs in your book because this table is extremely important, and you're going to use it in year 9, in year 10, etc. So please write it down if you don't have it with you in your book.